Do you ever rule certain political possibilities where you are concerned? Let us imagine Richard Frederick, still a government minister, still a member of the United Workers' Party, and the United Workers' Party is still in office, and you would have political capital. Do you regret that what has happened to you over the last few years, that is, to the extent that you are now contemplating contesting elections as an independent candidate? What could have been where you are concerned?
Steve, it's a very interesting question, but one of the things I always find solace in is that there is a bigger picture that none of us can see, so to speak. And I believe that sometimes when misfortunes unfold before you, I mean, it's human to be dejected, to be depressed, to have regrettable moments. But at the end of the day, you know, we know not the future holds. And sometimes God puts us through various adverse situations to test our strength and our commitment, because he may just be grooming us for something much bigger that was totally unforeseeable at the time. So whilst all of us are sometimes disappointed with a given situation, it may be part of a bigger picture that we cannot see. And because of that, financially, you can't respond. And he may be rewarding you because he has tested you and you have responded positively to all his tests.
But certainly, what is very challenging is and discouraging is that you don't know what is beyond today. What is
well, definitely
horizon,
not.
What is in the future?
Well, I don't know, at least from a political standpoint. You see, I am not one of those who ever intended to make a career out of politics. And that is the difference between me and some of the other persons in the political arena, either right now or have gone or to come. I mean, I intended to make a difference in my constituency and by extension in my country. I believe that there are still things I would like to achieve that I've not ever intended to remain in the political arena. Infinitum. You know, I just feel at some point you tell yourself, look, because politics is very, very demanding. A lot of people don't know that. It is demanding. It takes away the time you can spend with your family, your friends. I mean, sometimes persons knock on your door for assistance, and based on the kind of assistance they need, you realize it's a cause that is worthy of making a contribution or donation to. And sometimes your personal resources are dwindled tremendously because of the different situations which you feel compelled to assist in. You know, so as far as your question is concerned, had it been a situation where I wanted to make a career of politics, probably yes. I would have had more regret, you know. I would have probably gone on bended knees, so to speak. But it was never my intention. I was a police officer. I went to university, became a lawyer, was good at what I did, and it brought me whatever it brought me. And I've taken it from there to high heights. So I do believe, I personally see politics as even not a relegation really, but it is not even living your life the way you would like to live your life because of the demands and the constraints. And if a politician, any politician you see who has acquired a lot of wealth during his tenure, you have to put him under the microscope. I'm sorry. You know, persons suddenly come out with millions and millions of dollars working for $8,000 or $9,000.
Do we have such politicians?
I don't know. You need to investigate that. You're the journalist.
I'm not asking yes or no. Do we have? I'm not asking you to. But what would cause you to raise that issue?
Yeah, but of course.
Do we have such politicians?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm using this as an example why people believe they should make a career out of politics, and certainly not me. There is no financial incentive for me to want to remain in politics. There is obviously a desire to create a legacy. You know, you would want when your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren grew up, whether they know you or not, oh, my great-grandfather was the one who did this. This is the brainchild of my great-grandfather. Even in your grave, that would bring you a certain degree of satisfaction if you know that you've been spoken about with such positivity. You understand? So that is the reason. That is what probably propelled me into the political arena, not considerations of the salary at the end of the day, or I'm in debt and I need to pay my debt, or give this one that I have so much money to run. Nobody ever gave me money to run. Nobody. You know, I stayed away from it, and that is why up to this point I can decide, look, I am or I am not. And I am not too perturbed about what has happened, because I believe God never gives us a burden to carry without the requisite strength.
At the time that you're enjoying a wave of popularity in St. Lucia, on the heels of your by-election victory in March, future, you ever anticipated going forward that you would have ended up being the political leader of the United Workers' Party and subsequently Prime Minister of St. Lucia? Were you ever aiming for this? Or you ever saw it on the horizon?
You know, it's something that, put it this way, any organization in which you find yourself, you my elevation to commissioner. In politics, like I said, I never intended to make a career out of politics. You know, there are certain things that come your way, and if they come, you accept them. But it was not, I never intended to make a career out of politics. And therefore, within my immediate contemplation was whatever came, came. And if nothing came, then so be it. But at the end of the day, I did have a profession to fall back on, because politics, in my view, is not a profession. It is not something that anyone should make a career of. I believe if persons want to make a contribution, and in that regard, I want to single out Dr. Jimmy Fletcher, who, in my humble view, is a very astute, a very, very good account of himself. He has done well for us and for the region. But I will tell you bluntly, Jimmy Fletcher would have a difficulty in winning a seat in this country, given the kind of ideologies that permeate from the political arena. You know, people's person, sociable, this, that. And that is why, at some point during the program, I really want to deal with the fact that partisan politics do not necessarily attract the best people. They attract the most popular people. And in both instances, in both sides of the political divide, you've had instances where persons are elected, sometimes 10, 15, 20 years consecutively, but they are not ministerial material. They won the popularity contest, and they are used as a footstool to get into parliament, but then they themselves don't qualify as ministerial material. And that is why I believe partisan politics needs to be looked at again.
But persons like yourself would have benefited from this. On the heels of the 2006 general election, you had, I'm sure you would admit, maybe you would not identify those people, persons who are not ministerial material. But yes, and they won their seat, thus giving you the opportunity to serve in the cabinet.
Yeah, of course, I would readily admit that. I mean, at the end of the day, I may have been a beneficiary of, I wouldn't say that, you know, because I'm not sure winning an election and forming a government. And essentially that is what partisan politics is now. It is not a measurement of ability. It is not a measurement of stewardship. It is not a measurement of show me your slate. It is based on popularity, and sadly, our electorate are deeply, this philosophy is deeply ingrained in the minds of our electorate, because they would see the ability in Mr. A, but because they align to Party B, they are bound to vote for Party B. And I remember, you know, in Miku we have an old saying, the broomstick phenomenon, that once a party is popular, that any Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Harry in a given constituency can win. You know, and that ought not be so, because it undermines persons with the ability. But then again, you talk about democracy. So do we change, do we take away the democratic right of our people? I think what needs to be done is educating the electorate in that regard.
With regard to Castro Central, with three, in my estimation, competent individuals, qualified individuals, and I'm not about, and I cannot say to what extent, but I think
I was going to ask you to put a measuring rod on that.
I think it is fair to say that you, Mrs. Sarah Flood Bobra, and Ms. Senator Stanley Felix can be considered as competent individuals, intelligent individuals. But on the basis of what you just said in terms of people voting for a political party on the basis of its popularity and so on, which of the individuals you think, looking at from that perspective, removing your hat as a possible independent candidate, will win if there is a contest involving you three individuals?
I'm not sure. If I'm involved, no, but you're quite audacious to ask me that question, because obviously...
When I ask you to remove your hat
okay.
as an independent candidate, try and be objective as you can.
I mean, objective... I mean, wait. You're asking me to remove my hat as an independent candidate, and which hat now?
As an objective individual, if you can.
And to do what?
And tell me, based on all what you've just said, the analysis of the Sanusian electorate, which of the three would win that seat, Castro Central?
Put it this way, Richard Frederick is in nothing to lose. And I'm being quite objective. I mean, I believe I have the ability to pull votes from both sides of the political divide, and to ultimately come up with the numbers that may make me victorious at the end of the day. And that is what I believe can be done. And if the attendance last night was anything to go by, to judge how things will go down the road, I see everything looking almost crystal clear.
But in a two-man fight during the last general election, you won by less than 100 votes.
No, 113, 114 votes, over 100.
Okay, but I
Over
did check
100.
and well, maybe I need to verify.
Yeah, verify.
At the time, I did come up with a figure that's just below 100.
It's over 100.
Okay.
I mean, there was a significant reduction, no doubt.
Right. But in a three-way fight, don't you think that things are scheduled to change, are liable to change, and with you maybe managing to attract support from both the United Workers' Party and the Sanusi Labour Party, then that would be to advantage of one of the candidates from the established political parties rather than yourself?
First of all, let me just explain to him that the last elections, you will remember that obviously I took a tremendous battering. My reputation, I mean, from the time I entered the political arena, from the time I entered that door, there was a man with a big stick waiting to hit me on the head and on the back. But, you know, I have, you know, I took the blows, and I believe I've dealt with it, you know, fairly well. The elections of 2011, you must not forget, those elections were on the heels of me losing 2 visas. I was at my lowest. I couldn't have gone lower than I was then. On top of that, there was the rumor that the FBI was coming for me, Scotland Yard, and all kind of foolishness. But again, our people refuse to be analytical because, Tim, if you have a key to my house and you regularly come there, and I need you in my house, would I take the key from you? I would let you hold the key until you come there, you make the mistake of coming there. So the mere revocation of my visa signal an intention of the U.S. that they don't want to see me in the country. You know, but yet, and that's why I said on my show some time ago that, you know, I'm sure the U.S. has not taken the visas of Jack Warner, or visa of Jack Warner, because they are hoping that Jack Warner will jump on the plane one day, forgetting that there are warrants for his arrest, and may set foot into the United States. So that was against that kind of background, where quite a few people were fooled. The rumors were, you know, pervading every single societal strata, you know. So at the end of the day, you know, you are dealing with a situation where adversity is on your back, so to speak, but you are able to pull through. So I believe it speaks more to the strength of a candidate as opposed to the margin by which you won. But yes, it was a significant reduction from probably about 600 votes to just about 100, 112 or thereabout. I'm not sure. I can't remember now. I know it's over 100 according to the books. So, you know, that happened, and you figure once you're at your lowest, there's only one direction in which you can move, up. And since that, I believe that persons have seen things differently.